Minister Sumantra rolls through the city gates of Ayodhya, completely alone. Behind him, the royal chariot sits entirely empty. When King Dasharath sees the empty chariot, the reality sets in. His son Ram, along with Sita and Lakshman, have truly crossed the river into exile. They are not coming back. Dasharath is known to history as a fierce, invincible emperor who commanded vast armies. But in this moment, he is reduced to a paralyzed, weeping figure, collapsed on the floor of his own palace. All the military might and political authority in the world offer zero defense against the crushing weight of absolute emotional devastation. The royal sage Vashishta attempts to intervene. He appeals to logic and duty, arguing that Dasharath should feel immense pride that his son willingly sacrificed a massive empire to protect his father's word. Dasharath waves the logic away. He knows his agony is not standard grief. He recognizes this exact pain as the onset of a terrifying, inescapable punishment. According to ancient texts, the universe operates on an uncompromising ledger of karma. Every action generates an equal consequence, overriding any human attempts at wisdom or intervention. The king turns to his wife, Queen Kaushalya, and begins to confess. He reveals a dark, forgotten secret from his youth that has finally arrived to collect its debt. No amount of human intellect or royal counsel can erase a line item from the cosmic ledger of destiny. Decades earlier, before he was a king, a young Prince Dasharath ventured out on a dark, isolated night along the banks of the Sarayu river. The prince was immensely proud of a highly specialized archery technique called the Shabdabhedi Baan. He could strike any target flawlessly in the pitch dark, relying entirely on sound. Hiding in the brush, he hears a deep, gurgling noise near the water's edge. Assuming it is a wild elephant drinking, Dasharath draws his bow and blindly releases his arrow into the shadows. A human cry echoes through the forest. The arrow has fatally pierced Shravan Kumar, a young, devout ascetic who was simply dipping a pitcher into the river to gather water. A single, reckless assumption made in the dark sets off a chain reaction that will ultimately destroy a dynasty. Fulfilling Shravan's dying wish, a terrified Dasharath carries the water pitcher deep into the forest to find the boy's blind elderly parents. As he approaches their ashram, the old couple listens. They immediately recognize the heavy footsteps moving through the dirt do not belong to their son. Dasharath steps forward and confesses his crime. In an instant, the parents' gentle anticipation collapses into raw, agonizing horror. They are struck by putra viyog, the specific, excruciating agony of separation from a child. Without their son to care for them, they know they will perish. With their dying breaths, the grief-stricken parents bind Dasharath with a curse. He is doomed to one day die thrashing in this exact same agony. The law of karma demands absolute symmetry. The specific pain inflicted upon another will be returned, measure for measure, to the one who caused it. Decades later, in the royal chambers of Ayodhya, that ledger is balanced. Dasharath's current suffering is the unyielding manifestation of the old curse. His physical senses fail. He goes completely blind, reaching out into the dark to touch Queen Kaushalya, perfectly mirroring the sensory deprivation of Shravan Kumar's parents. The king thrashes on his bed, consumed entirely by the agony of separation from his exiled son. With his final breath, he simply chants Ram's name. Historical consequences never expire. Dasharath's death is a biological inevitability, triggered by a debt decades in the making. Hundreds of miles away, the landscape shifts to the southern forests, contrasting the dark, claustrophobic death chamber with the vast, open world. Lord Ram suddenly stops. He feels a dark, ominous presence pulling from the south, intuitively sensing the cosmic shift of his father's passing. The universe has rebalanced itself. It proves that no man, regardless of his title as emperor, is exempt from reaping the precise fruits of his own actions. To explore more stories where the cosmic laws of destiny govern kings and commoners alike, leave a comment below and subscribe to Rahasya Gatha.